Here's the problem. The problem is our brains, we take in the world through turning physical objects into symbols. That's how it works. So, this house behind me, we have to turn that into a symbol. I have to turn that, if I want it in my head. I can't take a rock or this bottle and, put it in my head. How do I do this? I turn this into a symbol in my head. Now it's in my head. And I can take in the entire world this way. The sun that is on me, the the trees, the mountains, everything around me, it becomes a symbol, a token for reality. This is beautiful. It's an amazing, it's a remarkable thing, and it gives rise to our ability to perceive and think, to understand the world. However, those symbols exist in our head, and this is where people get it really, really wrong. With the symbols in our head, we can shift into a place. So basically, let me put it another way. The symbols in our head are how we make reality. We literally transform reality, create tokens in our head, and those tokens interact to interpret the world. Language weaves it all together. Language gives us meaning, stories, puts everything together. But it can go really, really wrong. And in the sense that all of these things work together in this intricate fabric, and if you interrupt that fabric in any way, you can get your perception of reality super wrong. So that's why people use drugs. They're using drugs to interrupt the way things, reality works and weaves together. The problem is our brain is concerned with the external world. The majority of how we make sense of reality in general is we're concerned, because our safety is comes from out here. So the brain is interested in mapping this world out here. So that's where it gets really interesting, because I now have a map in my head of this external world with a bunch of tokens for reality that really actually exist in my head. Now I take a drug, or I have an insight or a meditation, and I begin to think that what is in my head is reality. But of course it's not. So then I interrupt that flow, and suddenly the external world appears to be changing. I appear to be seeing through that reality. But of course, that's not the case, because this reality out here is heavily interpreted and manipulated by your brain. So anything you do to manipulate your brain, in turn, manipulates your perception of reality. The problem, and where people get it super, super wrong, is they believe that this kind of thing that's happening is actually happening out there. They believe that it turns, that's the actual physical world that they're seeing through, that they're changing. But really what they're seeing through is the symbols in their head. They're seeing through thinking, they're seeing through thought. And there's value in that. The problem, and where people are getting it super, super wrong, is of course by thinking that that is reality. So, putting it super simple, the way we get reality in our head is we have to turn it into a symbol. You now have a symbol for this bottle. That's how it gets in your head. So if I say close your eyes, boom, you can imagine the bottle. So that's how we translate. Those symbols, which is really important, those symbols are put together inside your brain. Your map of the world, even though it looks like it's out there, yes, it's out there, but how you're making sense of it is happening in here. It's happening in your brain. It's in your brain processing, saying mountain, tree, light, chair, steam, dirt. It's just kind of filling in these shortcuts. But it gives us a perception that we're looking at a whole reality and that we actually have perception. Not the case. There's lots of things we're just filling in the blanks with, and we have blind spots the size of tennis balls right in the center of our vision, but we fill that in. We have no idea those blind spots are there, but those are physically, tangibly there. So now you have what the issue is. Reality is inside your head, Not that there isn't an external reality, there is. But how you are experiencing reality is happening inside your head. You take a drug, you interrupt what's happening inside your head. And then you have the delusion that what you're seeing in the physical world is actually being interrupted. That's where the matrix comes from. That's where all these ideas come from, because people are making, it's a cognitive delusion. It's just an incorrect perception that reality is being manufactured, or that reality exists out there. It does, but your understanding of it, your perception of it is happening in your brain. So you take a drug, you interrupt that perception, you interfere with it, suddenly you're seeing through things. Well, you're not seeing through things. You're seeing through your perception. You're seeing through your brain. You're actually seeing into the inner workings. And that, in essence, is what a hallucination is. But the delusion that we all suffer from is that we think it's out there, but you don't realize it's not. It's happening in your head. Obviously, it's happening in your head because you have turned everything in the external world into a symbol. That's how we know. Because I don't have a mountain. If you see these mountains around me or anything, I don't have those in my head except in symbolic form. That's how I understand that they're even there. That's how I even perceive them. I perceive the symbols. They've been labeled. They're tied together with language. They have a good story. They have emotional history. But all of that is being assembled inside our head. So anything we do to interrupt the process of the brain and the process of seeing, perceiving, connecting, understanding, adding meaning, that will also get interrupted. And then we go, oh, I've seen truth. Well, you've seen your brain, and that is true. Until the next time, it's Lawrence. Hope you enjoy this video. If you like what I'm talking about, subscribe to my channel. If you don't, and feel free to share it with your friends. Talk to you soon.